To open an image in Blender, to use it as a background, you can press N. This way you open the property panel and then go to background images, turn background images on, click add image, click open, and then you can browse to where you have your images. In my case, click on desktop, and for example I have here a PNG of a city bike with the transparent background. I click open, and there now you see my PNG image in the background. And nicely, as you see, in contrast to alias, the transparent background from the PNG image will transfer also into Blender. So what options do we have here to set up this image? Well, we could change the opacity to make it fully visible or fully transparent. We have a slider for X and Y to move it up and down, left and right. And we have a size slider. The size slider is very important to adjust, for example, your drawing so that it is, let's say, in scale. But now I would like this image, for example, only to be visible, let's say, inside the right view. Well, to do this, you could go to Axis, click on the All Views button, and then select right. And then this way, if I press 1 for front or 7 for top, you will not see this image. You will only see it when you're inside the right view. And let's say you have a front view, you could go add image and then open another image. And I don't have a different view, but in this case I just open a different image and then say, well, show this one only in front. So if I switch to front, you see then Blender shows you the respective image. So this is actually a pretty nice option to have different views based, or different images based on your views being visible. But I don't really need this one. And let's go back to here. And then with background images, the checkbox, you can turn all view images on off. You can also here show the image on off. But now let's talk a little bit about the size, because currently we just have this image and I don't really know the proportion. So let's assume I'm going to build, in this case, a bike that should fit a person like myself, and I'm roughly 185 meters tall. So I go to Scene, go to Units, set this to Metric, and if I select my cube, I can, for example, in the dimension see that this cube has a height of roughly 2 meters. So if I type in 1.85 meters, I'm going to scale this cube to this height of 1.85 meters. And then I can zoom in and, for example, move this one up. Well, I can use this cube somewhat as a visual helper to see like what would be my maximum body height in case I would stand with both feet on the ground. Of course, you know, we deal with a bike, and I have to guess a little bit, know the correct size I need, because when I sit on the bike, then my feet, for example, don't touch the ground. So I could maybe change this value to 2 and then move my image up and see what the dimension is. And this is over 2 meters, so the size, for example, is too big. Well, 1.5, let's take a look at this. And with 1.5, my head is getting close actually to the 2 meters mark. And that can get close now to high, for example, I would be in case I would sit on this bike, because sitting on this bike correctly, maybe just my toes would be able to reach the ground floor when pushing my foot down. So maybe 1.4. That's actually too small, 1.45. And then if I left click on the Y and move it, I can scale pretty quickly. If I shift left click, hold my mouse button, then I can move, for example, in gentler steps. And again, this is just a sketch. The sketch should help you maybe with some of the proportions. This background sketch is not like a perfect technical drawing. So what I can do now is, for example, delete this cube and use now the positioning of the sketch roughly as a visual helper to start building my, let's say, my bike frame. Instead of, for example, doing a guesswork the way how I did it with a cube and judging maybe the height I would be sitting on this bike, if you have a technical drawing, you could also have on the drawing maybe a line drawn that is in scale, let's say to what would be 1 meter or one foot, and then create a cube that has that dimension. And then, for example, it's 1 meter, make a cube that is 1 meter. If it's 1 foot in your drawing, make a cube that is 1 foot, and then scale the image accordingly.